What's going on, Whiteboard Friday fans? My name is Ross Simmonds from Foundation Marketing, and today we're going to be talking about how to develop a content distribution playbook that will drive meaningful and measurable results for your business. What is content distribution and why does it matter? First and foremost, content distribution is the thing that you need to be thinking about if you want to combat the fact that it is becoming harder and harder than ever before to stand out as a content marketer, as a storyteller, and as a content creator in today's landscape. It's getting more and more difficult to rank for content. It's getting more and more difficult to get organic reach through our social media channels. And that is why content distribution is so important. You are facing a time when organic reach on social continues to drop more and more, where the ability to rank is becoming even more difficult because you're competing against more ad space, you're competing against more featured snippets, you're competing against more companies, and because content marketers have screamed at the top of their lungs that content is king and the world has listened, it is becoming more and more difficult to stand out amongst the noise. Most marketers have embraced this idea because for years we've screamed, content is king, create more content. And that is what the world has done. Most marketers start by just creating content, hoping that traffic will come, hoping that reach will come, and hoping that as a result of them creating content, that profits will follow. In reality, the profits never come because they miss a significant piece of the puzzle, which is content distribution. In today's video, we're going to be talking about how you can distribute your content more effectively across a few different channels, a few different strategies, and how you can take your content to the next level. There's two things that you can spend when it comes to content distribution. You can spend time or you can spend money. And in today's video, we're going to talk about exactly how you can distribute your content. So when you write that blog post, you write that landing page, when you create that ebook, you create that infographic, whatever resource you've developed, you can ensure that that content is reaching the right people on the right channel at the right time. So how can you do it? We all have heard of owned channels. Owned channels are things that you own as a business, as a brand, as an organization. These are things that you can do without question probably today. For example, email marketing. It's very likely that you have an email list of some sort. You can distribute your content to those people. Let's say you have a website that offers people a solution or a service directly inside of the site. Say it's a software as a service or something of that nature. If people are logging in on a regular basis to access your product, you can use in-app notifications to let those people know that you've launched a blog post. Or better yet, if you have a mobile app of any sort, you can do the same thing. You can use your app to let people know that you just launched a new piece of content. You have social media channels. Let's say you have Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook. Share that content to your heart's desire on those channels as well. If you have a website, you can update an on-site banner at the top or in the bottom right that is letting people know who visit your site that you have a new piece of content. Let them know. They want to know that you're creating new content, so why not advise them that you have done such? If you have a sales team of any sort, let's say you're in B2B and you have a sales team, one of the most effective ways is to empower your sales team to communicate to your sales team that you have developed a new piece of content so they can follow up with leads, they can nurture those existing relationships and even existing customers to let them know that a new piece of content has gone live. That one-to-one connection can be huge. So when you've done all that, what else can you do? You can go into social media, you can go into other channels, and again, you can spend time distributing your content into these places where your audience is spending time as well. So if you have a Twitter account, you can send out tweets. If you have a Facebook page, of course, you can put up status updates. If you have a LinkedIn page, you can put up a status update as well. These three things are typically what most organizations do in that phase 2. But that's not where it ends. You can go deeper, you can do more. You can go into Facebook groups, whether as a page or as a human, and share your content into these communities as well. You can let them know that you've published a new piece of research and you would love for them to check it out. Or you're in these groups and you're looking and waiting and looking for somebody to ask a question that your blog post, your research has answered, And then when you respond to that article or to that question with the content that you've developed. Or you do the same exact thing in a LinkedIn group. LinkedIn groups are an awesome opportunity for you to go in and start seeding your content as well. Or you go to medium.com. You repurpose the content that you've developed. You launch it on medium.com as well. There's an import function on Medium where you can import your content, get a canonical link directly to your site, and you can share that on Medium as well. Medium.com is a great distribution channel because you can see that content to publications as well. And when your content is going to these publications, they already have existing subscribers, and those subscribers get notified that there is a new piece being submitted by you. And when they see it, that's a new audience that you wouldn't have reached before using any of those own channels, because these are people who you wouldn't have had access to before. So you want to take advantage of that as well. Keep in mind, you don't always have to upload even the full article. You can upload a snippet and then have a CTA at the bottom, a call to action, driving people to the article on your website. You can use LinkedIn video to do the same thing. Very similar concept. Imagine you have a LinkedIn video. You look into the camera and you say to your connections, hey, everyone, we just launched a new research piece that is breaking down X, Y, and Z, A, B, C. I would love for you to check it out. Check the link below. If you created that video and you shared it on your LinkedIn, your connections are going to see this video and it's going to break their pattern of what they typically see on LinkedIn. So when they see it, they're going to engage, they're going to watch that video, they're going to click the link, and you're going to get more reach for the content that you developed in the past. Slack community is another great place to distribute your content. Slack isn't just a great channel to build internal culture and communicate as an internal team. There's actual communities, people who are passionate about photography, people who are passionate about e-commerce, people who are passionate about SEO. There are Slack communities today where these people are gathering to talk about their passions and their interests, and you can do the same thing that you would do in Facebook groups or LinkedIn groups in these various Slack communities. Instagram stories and Facebook stories. Awesome, great channel for you to also distribute your content. You can add a link to these stories that you're uploading, and you can simply say, swipe up if you want to get access to our latest research. Or you can design a graphic that will say, swipe up to get our latest posts. And people who are following you on these channels will swipe up, they'll land on your article, they'll land on your research, and they'll consume that content as well. LinkedIn Pulse. You have the opportunity now to upload an article directly to LinkedIn. Press publish and again, let it soar. You can use the same strategies that I talked about around medium.com on LinkedIn and you can drive results. Quora, it's like a question and answer site like Yahoo Answers back in the day, except with a way better design. You can go into Quora and you can share just a native link and tag it with relevant content, relevant topics and things of that nature. Or you can find a few questions that are related to the topic that you've covered in your post, in your research, whatever asset you developed, and you can add value to that person who asked that question, and within that value, you make a reference to the link in the article that you've developed in the past as well. Slideshare, one of the OGs of B2B marketing. You can go to Slideshare, upload a presentation version of the content that you've already developed. Let's say you've written a long blog post. Why not take the assets within that blog post, turn them into a PDF, a Slideshare presentation, upload them there, and then distribute it through that network as well. Once you have those Slideshare presentation put together, what's great about it is you can take those graphics and you can share them on Twitter, you can share them on Facebook, LinkedIn, you can put them into medium.com and distribute them further there as well. You can go into forums, right? Like, let's think about it. If your audience is spending time in a forum communicating about something, why not go into these communities and into these forums and connect with them on a one-to-one basis as well? There's a huge opportunity in forums and communities that exist online where you can build trust and you can seed your content into these communities where your audience is spending time. A lot of people think forums are dead. They could never be more alive. If you type in your audience, your industry forums, I promise you'll probably come across something that will surprise you as an opportunity to seed your content. Reddit communities. A lot of marketers get the heebie-jeebies when I talk about Reddit. They're all like, marketers on Reddit, that doesn't work. Reddit hates marketing. I get it. I understand what you're thinking. But what they actually hate is the fact that marketers don't get Reddit. Marketers don't get the fact that Redditors just want value. And if you can deliver value to people using Reddit, whether it's through a post or in the comments, they will meet you with happiness and joy. They will be grateful of the fact that you've added value to their communities, to their subreddits, and they will reward you with upvotes, with traffic and clicks, and maybe even a few leads or a customer or two in the process. Do not ignore Reddit as being the site that you can embrace. Whether you're B2B or B2C, Redditors can like your content. Redditors will like your content if you go in with value first. Sites like Imgur, another great distribution channel, take some of those slides that you developed in the past, upload them to Imgur and let them sing there as well. There are way more distribution channels and distribution techniques that you can use that go beyond even what I've described here, but this is just a few examples that show you that the power of distribution doesn't exist just in a couple posts. It exists in actually spending the time, taking the time to distribute your stories and distribute your content across a wide variety of different channels. That's spending time. You can also spend money through paid marketing. Paid marketing is also an opportunity for any brand to distribute their stories. First and foremost, you can use remarketing. Let's talk about that email list that you've already developed. If you take that email list and you run remarketing ads to those people on Facebook, on Twitter, on LinkedIn, you can reach those people and get them engaged with new content that you've developed. Let's say somebody's already visiting your page. People are visiting your website. They're visiting your content. Why not run remarketing ads to those people who already demonstrate some type of interest to get them back on your site, back engaged with your content, and tell your story to them as well. Another great opportunity is if you leverage video in any way, you can do remarketing ads on Facebook to people who have watched 10, 30 seconds, 20 seconds, whatever it may be, to your content as well. And then one of the opportunities that is definitely underrated is the fact that Quora now offers advertising as well. You can run ads on Quora to people who are asking or looking at questions related to your industry, related to the content that you've developed, and get your content in front of them as well. And then influencers. You can do sponsored content. You can reach out to these influencers and have them talk about your stories, talk about your content, and have them share it as well on behalf of the fact that you've developed something new and something that is interesting. And when I talk about influencer marketing, I talk about Reddit, I talk about Slideshare, I talk about LinkedIn video, I talk about Slack communities. A lot of marketers will quickly say, I don't think this is for me. I think this is too much. I think that this is too much manual work. I think this is too much niche communities. I think this is a little bit too much for my brand. I get that. I understand your mindset, but this is what you need to recognize. Most marketers are going through this process. And if you think that by distributing your content into the communities that your audience is spending time is just a little bit off-brand or doesn't really suit you, that's what most marketers already think. Most marketers already think that Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn is all they need to do to share their stories, get their content out there, and call it a day. And if you want to be like most marketers, you're going to get what most marketers receive as a result, which is mediocre results. So I push you to think differently. I push you to push yourself to not be like most marketers, not to go down the path of mediocrity, and instead start looking for ways that you can either invest time or money into channels, into opportunities, and into communities where you can spread your content with value first and ultimately generate results for your business at the end of all of it. So I hope that you can use this to uncover for yourself a content distribution playbook that works for your brand, whether you're in B2C, you're in B2B, it doesn't matter. You have to understand where your audience is spending time, understand how you can seed your content into these different spaces, and unlock the power of content distribution. My name's Ross Simmonds. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out on Twitter @thecoolestcool or hit me up any other way. I'm on every other channel. Of course I am. I love social. I love digital. I'm everywhere that you could find me. So feel free to reach out, and I hope you enjoyed this video and you can use it to give your content more reach and ultimately drive meaningful and measurable results for your business. Thank you so much.